Bruce, a lot of the guys talked ahead of the Charlotte game, tighter defense. What did you see just in terms of defensive performance against Charlotte?
Well, it was a much improved performance from our previous games. I think we held Charlotte to very few goal-scoring opportunities, and so for the most part, and their goal was a little bit unlucky, a deflected shot. So I think all in all, we did pretty well.
Next, we'll go to Tom Quinlan from WPRO. He'll be followed up by Jamie Rook from Last Word on Sports. Tom, you're unmuted now.
Hey, Coach, good to see you. You had pretty good seats on Sunday for the Celtics playoff game. I was wondering if you had a rooting interest in the game. Did you want to tell the guy in front of you to sit down as he kept did you want to tell the guy in front of you to sit down as he kept on jumping up in front of you during the game?
Who are you talking about, Nash?
Do you like today's NBA?
Who are you talking about, Nash?
No, not Nash. The fan that kept on jumping in front of you. Do you like today's NBA better, or the older NBA where it was more physical and aggressive?
Well, if you didn't think last night's game was physical, you must be a pretty tough guy. But last night resembled a little bit of the Detroit Pistons, I think, many decades ago. But the league obviously isn't as physical as it once was, but it's a pretty good league, very talented players.
Next, we go to Jamie Rook from Last Word on Sports. He'll be followed up by Sam Minton from SBA. You're unmuted now.
Hi, Bruce. Just wondering what your thoughts were on the DC coaching firing and whether that will change your whether you'll change your preparation for the weekend.
Change your what?
Will it change your preparation for the game this weekend?
Well, I would say to answer your second question first, I think it leaves us without a scouting report. Who knows what the new coach will do, kind of formational play the players will use, so that's an unknown. So our concentration has to be on our team. Regarding the dismissal of the coach, I never like to see a coach or a player fired or dismissed, however you want to term it. So that's all I have to say. I know the coach worked really hard to try to get DC United moved up the ladder in terms of where they stand in the Eastern Conference, and he worked really hard. So I wish him the very best.
We go to Sam Minton from Sam, you're unmuted now.
Hello, Bruce. Thank you for doing this. I just wanted to ask George Petrovic, he was seen at training. So overall, what has it been like having him with the team so far?
He just came in today. He hasn't trained with us yet. He just came in. Tomorrow will be his first day of training, and we'll get a better feel for him. What we've seen, obviously, in the recruitment of the players, he's a very promising young goalkeeper. Good athleticism, good size. Great potential. So we need to see him in our setting before we, draw any kind of conclusions. But my guess is that he's going to be a pretty good goalkeeper.
Okay, we'll go back to Tom Quinlan from WPRO. Tom, you're unmuted now.
I'm not going to ask you to talk about Lasada time with DC, but Julian Gressel was on Twitter yesterday talking about sort of the micromanaging style that Lasada had, and it was sort of a disconnect from the locker room. As the winningest MLS coach of all time, what's the best way, you feel to, approach a locker room when it comes to working with players and having a relationship that might not be too overbearing?
Every situation's different. What I had at the LA Galaxy is different than the New England Revolution. Same thing at DC United. Every environment's different. You try to bring your philosophy into a team, but you constantly have to tinker with that because every setting is different. Ownership is different, players are different, the league is different. I mean, there's so many variables that go into making decisions on how you lead a team. So, that's a hard question for me to answer.
Take just one more question. That'll go to Jeff Lemieux, RevolutionSoccer.net. Jeff, you're unmuted now.
Hey, Bruce, I know Henry had to miss the game last weekend through illness. Just wanted to see how Henry was doing this week.
He's been out of training, so hopefully he'll be ready to go come Saturday. We don't know what our starting lineup is yet, but Henry will be available on Saturday.